Volume down. Let me bring it down a little. Actually, that should be good. A little too loud, is it? That's a little too loud still. There we go. That should be a lot better. How's everyone doing? Welcome, welcome. Brand new day, brand new stream, brand new year. Although that was like what, 6 days ago, 5 days ago. Anyways, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys made some money today. I had a pretty good day. Profits were made, money was made. Actually last night on the overnight market, some money was made. But today I basically gave away all of that profits, got into the red, stepped away from the computer, came back, found an opportunity, and then I made all the money back, and then I once again ended on a high note. So a little bit of a back and forth day for me, you know, a little bit of a roller coaster. Nice little roller coaster ride that I was on. Wasn't a fun roller coaster for some time, but eventually was able to extract some profits out of the market, and that's all that matters, right? So made some money on the day. I'll show you guys some of the trades I took today, and then we'll talk about the wild moves going on across the board. There's some after hour movers, so we'll discuss the after hour movers, the intraday movers, any specific sectors that I might want to keep an eye on, and basically prepare for tomorrow. So if you're prepared for that, strap on your seatbelts. Let's go into the split screen mode. Yeah, let's go to the split screen mode and talk about some of these stocks that why don't I start off with what I traded on the day, huh? Let's do that. So let me go to my journal, pull up my trades on the day here. Do I only show the winning trades? I guess I'll show you. How do I open this? I can't just right click open this image in a new window? What the hell? Give me a second, chat. There's got to be a better way to open this. So here, copy link, more options, add link to image, open in browser. There you go. And then I pull the browser here, and then you guys should be able to see it right there. Bang. That is the trade from last night. More options, open in browser. That is also a trade from last night. Here are the trades from today. Open browser, open in browser, open in browser. Ooh, I actually might need to add that to my watch list. Almost forgot that one. Maybe I don't need to add that in my watch list. We don't care about that one. Anyways, okay. So last night, noticed that the market was a little active, so figured I'd try my luck with some positions. Started off with NVIDIA, took an NVIDIA opening range breakdown short that didn't have any momentum or push to it to the downside, in the money a little bit, but didn't have any momentum or push to it, so instantly ended up losing on that trade. Took it for a loss and walked away from this. And then later on noticed that Tesla was setting up for a pretty good opening range breakout to the north side. The market actually at nighttime was going higher. Market was going up after gapping down. Market was going up. And NVIDIA had a failed lower day breakdown that I just partook in, and Tesla was setting up for a pretty good opening range breakout. So I figured, okay, let's start off with the starter size, and then if volume comes in and buyers are stepping back in, and the stock is actually wanting to or looking like it's willing to break out to the upside, let's get involved in it. So I started off getting into the long, managed to catch a nice little move, pretty much $1 or $2 move if I remember correctly. That exit up here, the second exit, was a mistake. I didn't mean to exit over here. I was throwing an order actually pretty much up here in this area, but I keystroked and I sent the order $1 below. So the stock, since it was trading where it was, automatically had the order execute on itself, because I set the order $1 below instead of $1 higher, and that ended up costing me some money. But hey, profits at the end of the day, not gonna complain. Green day because of this Tesla long, basically capturing a nice little move from about 8:30 into 10 o'clock at night or so. So quick little profits made in the overnight session. And then I took those profits and I basically saw that SoFi was having a pretty bad day today. SoFi was absolutely getting destroyed. At this point, when I took the screenshot, SoFi was down about 8% on the day, but SoFi was actually, I think it might have recovered a little bit. I can't remember if it, okay, maybe this is, what time did I take this picture? 3:30, 3:53. So this is pretty much around the close, 7 minutes before the close. So SoFi at this time of day down about 8%, around 4 o'clock into the close. But off the open, if you noticed how steep the decline was, every single 5-minute candle was red, every single 10-minute candle was red. I figured, okay, there could be some sort of a mean reversion opportunity here where I'm risking maybe 10-20 cents, and I end up getting a reward of a move all the way back to VWAP, which was about 80 cents to $1. Risking 20 cents and getting $1 move, that's a good risk to reward move. The market's going higher, market's on a big trajectory to the upside. One thing I for sure made a mistake here is I did not look up the catalyst. Why was SoFi so weak on the day? I didn't pay attention to that at all. I just simply looked for a setup, and then I forced that setup after taking a loss. So took the first original little bit of size off for break even after noticing that didn't have any power to go through to the north side. Then I got stopped out, then I got back in, then I got stopped out again, then I got back in. So this was a little bit of revenge trading, and then I said, you know what, screw this, I'm done with this. I'm no longer involved in trying to revenge trade SoFi. I'm just gonna walk away from it, and clearly it's way too weak. I need some clear bottoming out signal, some sort of a capitulation, which never really happened. And the fact that SoFi was just getting sold so drastically in the meanwhile, IWM, QQQ, I mean, S&P 500 basically closed at a new all-time high. So I was pretty shocked at seeing. I think banks were also having a good day, but here SoFi is struggling on the day today. If I remember correctly, it was something to do with an offering, but I didn't do the research at the time of the trade. I just blindly got into the trade, and I basically lost quite a bit of money over here. And I said, you know what? No longer doing stupid stuff like that. I'm gonna back out and just wait for an opportunity to set up. Then I saw SNDK, SanDisk, another name that was going crazy, but instead of SoFi to the downside, this is going upside. SNDK, WDC, Seagate Technologies, all these memory-based names were just absolutely flying off, and this one was up like 25% already. So I was like, okay, come on, this is a little crazy. There's got to be some sort of a backside scalp opportunity coming into play where a move to VWAP is warranted, because this is insane. Not only did we break all-time high at 285, we are now much higher than 285 at 350 almost. I mean, the stock did close at 350, I think, right? So pretty insane of a move here. $75 move on the day today overall. I was expecting a little bit of a mean reversion, but no, just way too strong on the day. I took my one attempt and I walked away from it. You know, one and done attempt. I didn't want to force this like I did on SoFi, and this one hurt quite a bit because obviously the stock is a little spready. You know, you end up taking more damage than you originally intended to, because your stop might not get triggered, then you panic and you cross too much over, and you end up paying to a little bit more than what you originally intended to. So this one hurt. But hey, I think I took a proper setup that when it came into play, I applied the strategy. It's just a way too strong of a stock and the sector and the game that's being played on the stock at the moment that makes me you know, I have some theories about this. So when we start charting the name, I'll talk about what exactly I'm talking about over there on SNDK. But yeah, as for a short, was looking for a quick scalp. It didn't play out. Took my loss, walked away from it. Nice little attempt over there. In the meantime, I found some trades to help me stay afloat. One of them was ON, semiconductor name. I think last night, overnight, they were moving pretty drastically. They were going up higher in the after hours. So today pre-market was watching to see how the stock would react, basically to see if it was above a key level, which was around $60-61. And you can see how off the open it was basically above 60, above 61 throughout the day. Even on this pullback from $62, where it gets a little bit under VWAP, the stock manages to reclaim VWAP and find buyers back above VWAP. So on that case, I figured, you know, an opportunity to get long in this area, put a stop somewhere down here, and a hard stop down here will give me an opportunity to see if you know, there's a move into high a day, and then a bigger move past high a day for a much better move overall. So I got to participate in that. I think there was an opportunity here to add to my position, especially after it pulls back, holds VWAP again, buyers stepping back in again in the same area. I think adding somewhere in this area would have been completely okay, and then you could have put a stop here, like a stop for probably 75% of your size, and then 100% of your size somewhere down here again as a complete walk away from the trade. So missing out on that one, whatever, still made money, right? So profits were made, captured a move into the high day breakout, but then notice that it started stalling out into this high day. A lot of stalling out into high day. So tried to put a stop on this stock, but I guess the stop was a little too far to the downside. I could have potentially gotten stopped out a little bit earlier and made, you know, a couple cents, couple 20, 30, 40 cents more on that position, but still profits at the end of the day. ON Semiconductors, so that one was one of my first winners on the day. Here's a quick little hit and run, a loser, but a hit and run. Looking at Amazon. Amazon had a monster day today. We'll talk about that more in depth when we get to the Magnificent Seven sector for charting. Monster day on Amazon, basically carrying the QQQ, if I might say so, because Tesla had a red day. I think Amazon was down, Nvidia was basically down. You know, Amazon was kind of the only one rallying, so I'm not sure what was going on, but market whole new high day for all-time high for S&P 500, QQQ at the high day today. So pretty good moves across the board. So Amazon having a good move overall. Once again, looking for the backside scalp, but no momentum on the breakdown of the setup entry. So instantly walking away from the trade instead of sticking to the original stop, which I think saved me some money. But however, the setup triggered again later on, but I wasn't focused at that point. I was too busy focusing on the winner that saved the day for me and did exactly what I wanted to do on this name and how I wanted to do it on this name. So I'm pretty happy with what I did over here. Basically, Micron, a new all-time high, a new day high, coming in around 2 o'clock or so. I don't like to take high day breakouts in the middle of the day, but even that would have been profitable for you, which is around 1:30, 12 o'clock or so. I try not to trade between 12 to 2. It's algo hour, bot hour. I try to stay away from that. So later on in the day, from 2 to 3 or 2 to 4 o'clock, it actually gave you a pretty good setup where you know, you got to get long in the high day area. It broke high day, previous high day, and then it started consolidating at the previous high day area. So I figured, okay, if buyers are willing to step in at this price, I'm going to join and basically risk a little bit lower than where the buyers are currently at. And I never got stopped out. I just simply moved my stop higher gradually as the stock kept going higher, along with my moving averages and my exit strategies and so on. So took a profit for $1 per share over here. To protect myself from any random downside whiplash, because this is Micron. Micron's trading a lot like the overall market, the overall S&P 500 and the QQQ. So if there was a random whiplash, especially on the S&P 500, because it was at all-time high, and you know, a failed break of all-time high could take the market right back to the downside, in which case Micron could have dumped to the downside. So protecting myself as the stock is going higher, moving my stops higher, taking profits into strength, and then trailing to the moving averages. And then, as you guys know, I have to be flat going into close. That's the company policy for the prop account. So going into 4 o'clock, I just got out of the trade completely, took my profits, and exit stage left. Nice little trade, and actually hit my target. My target was a 1:1 measured move from this high to this low. So basically from the retracement to VWAP width is what I was looking for, and obviously we weren't risking anywhere close to that range width for the stop. So a risk to reward was monster on this trade, and saved the day today, keeping it green, keeping the green streak alive. I'm pretty sure. Let me go check out what the green streak is at. It's at 2 days, but the keeping the green streak alive, and we're gonna enjoy with that one. So shout out to Micron today. And that is basically the end of the trades on the day today. tomorrow will be a new day, and we're gonna look for more opportunities. We'll see if the blue ocean has opportunities for us. We'll see if the overall market has opportunities for us. Sean says, Prad, what's up, Sean? Hopefully you're having a monster start to 2026 so far. All right. Let's go to the watch list, and let me bring that to the screen here. So this is the watch list for tomorrow. Really quickly notice that I'm actually very upset myself for missing FIGR today. Talked a lot about this name yesterday, but I completely zoned out and forgot about this name today. And there was some very easy long. You can see how the stock opens a little bit below yesterday's high, and however, instantly reclaims to yesterday's high on the opening 5-minute, and then just stays above that level. Just say 54, right? Stays above 54 for the rest of the day on every single pullback. I think there was a long here that we could have participated in, but anyways, that's not what caught my eye in the after hours over here. It's MicroStrategy. MSTR had some sort of a news catalyst that actually made all the cryptocurrency based stocks move. Even Bitcoin itself moved to the upside, making a push to the 93-94k area. So MSTR, Coinbase, Circle, Figure. Did Figure actually make a move in the after hours? It did not. But Mara, Riot, Hut 8, all its Clear Spark, all of these cryptocurrency based stocks basically moved in the after hours. So potentially some sort of a trading opportunity setting up over here, brewing for us to take advantage tomorrow or in the coming days. We'll see how that sets up. But the most important thing right now for me for this trade would be, how does the stock react to this 172.50 area? If MicroStrategy can get above 172.50, potentially some sort of opportunity over there for us to take advantage in. So 172.50, let me just put that on the resistance area, and notes if stock, was it 172.50? 171.50, sorry. If stock can find buying above 171.50, look to get long, because I'm interested to see how that plays out. Purple. Figure, if Bitcoin continues to have a move tomorrow, potentially Figure could have a day 3. This is a monster day 1. Today's day 2. The stock didn't even have to pull back into day 2 VWAP or yesterday's VWAP, I think. Let's actually go check. Yeah, it never had to pull back into yesterday's VWAP. So very, very good strength off the bat. What will be important tomorrow is how the stock reacts to today's VWAP. Ideally, you don't want to see the stock get below today's VWAP tomorrow. So 55 might give you some sort of an opportunity to look for a support. That's the inflection. If stock cannot hold day 2 yesterday VWAP, then stay away from longs. But I'm gonna be staying away from trading completely if it's not able to hold 55. I think there's better trades out there, so I'll give this a blue priority. Shadow Guy, hey Prad, ready for some trading talk? Happy New Year, Shadow Guy. And yes sir, trading talk is indeed what is currently taking place here. FIGR, Coinbase is the next one in the cryptocurrency basket. Where is Coinbase at the moment? I think not the most interesting trade setup brewing right out the bat on Coinbase, but if you look at yesterday's high, let me just delete a couple of my drawings here. If you look at yesterday's high and today's high, basically yesterday's width, yesterday's high, today's high, yesterday's low is around the same area. So if buying does manage to come in and we are pushing back into this pocket and getting above it, there could be a trade to the north side above here on pullback and showing strength above here on the breakout above here, or even a trade on the reject of this area for sure. So 258.88, surprisingly a funny level over there. 258.88. Where's Coinbase? 258.88 to 259 to 260. I'm just gonna give it that whole range pocket. 260, a nice psychological even dollar area. 259 is basically rounding up 258.88 to 259. I'm not sure what's going on with my throat right now, but yeah. So looking for how the stock reacts to this level, if it can manage to get above it. So ideally, I would like for it to not only find buyers at 259, which would be above yesterday's high, today's high. I would like for it to find buyers at 260. Go one step above and show me buyers above that price point, and fight for the long. And if buyers are able to show me that, then I'm willing to look for a long on some sort of a pullback. You know what I mean by that is, can I pull up a paint? I can. So what I mean by that is, this is 260, this is 259, right? And what I want to see is something like this, right? This would make me want to go long on this area right here. Or I want to see this, right? This I would be much more interested in for a long than the other one. What I don't want to see for the longs is this, right? I don't want to see this for the long at all. This would get me more excited for the short and get somewhere short here. So watching to see how the stock reacts to this area, these little price points, the inflection and the behavior around these pockets, and especially how Bitcoin trades tomorrow. If Bitcoin gets above that beautiful 94, 95K, which we're a little bit far away from still, but if it gets above that 94, 95K and manages to stay above it, then Coinbase potentially blasting off. MSTR, which has a probably the best setup of all of them tomorrow, potentially blasting off. Already took a little bit of a flight in the after hours with some catalyst, but gave back a little bit of that move sadly. But you know, if Bitcoin starts to go back up tomorrow, MSTR could really start to catch some traction. So watching the cryptocurrency sector without a doubt. Next, let's go to some of the stocks that moved up today. Micron. I talked about my trade on Micron today. Basically went long over here, and you can see how the one measured move target is basically where the stock closed at. Isn't that amazing? You can also see how the one measured move also happened to be the opening range high. So that's the opening range 5-minute breakout high right there, where the stock broke out from and pulled back and bounced right off of the opening range breakout high, and just continued to blast off into the close. Pretty amazing when you see things like these. Now this is not like a one-time thing that I've seen. These are stuff that I've seen again and again on the market. The question is, how do you take advantage of a move like this? How do you position yourself in a trade like this and capture it? There are some different setups, you know, depending on the tools you're using. Potentially you could use VWAP as your gauge. You could have a line drawn out from the opening range 5-minute candle, and you'll see how VWAP, 21 EMA, and all other tools come into your help for you. There's also chart patterns like this bullish pennant over here, that would have involved you to get long around $333, and you would have captured a move not all the way up to the target move, which is 354, but going into the close you would have captured a move up to 345-ish or 346-ish dollars or so. Still a pretty good trade overall, but you can see how my risk to reward on this trade when I went long here was basically, what is it, $1.50. I ended up making about $6-7 per share on that, right? So $1.50 was my risk. I ended up making about $6-7 per share on that one. So that's the setup that I like to take advantage of. Just different strokes for different folks, right? There's a million ways to skin a cat in this game, and that one happened to be mine today. So Micron, nice little continuation for the all-time high breakout. Can't stop, won't stop. These AI technology, also memory-based names, SNDK. All these stocks are going absolutely nuts. SNDK had a pretty good breakout also. I was a little tempted to look long on this breakout right here. It did match my criteria. It's very similar criteria to Micron. I was a little tempted to take that breakout, but I hesitated and I chickened out. If I did take that breakout, that would have been a monster trade going into the close, but wah. You know, scared money make no money, so made no money on SNDK today. Instead, I actually lost some money trying to short it right there. However, I was watching this area. Nice little breakout on SNDK on the overall chart pattern. This is actually very reminiscent to SMCI before it started going parabolic. So here's SMCI before it went crazy for the very similar AI theme, AI pattern, right? So SMCI broke out and then absolutely went batshit crazy. I think SNDK, well, this is not my theory, this is somebody else's theory, but I agree with their theory. Only time will tell us if it will play out that way or not. But the theory is basically SNDK could give us very similar moves like SMCI in the past. Get explosive, keep going higher, higher in space before it actually crumbles and comes back to the ground. I think there's a lot more craziness that's in play here. If you guys know anything about computers, there's a thing called RAM. RAM is very important for AI, training models and memory space in general. And DDR5 sticks, DDR6 sticks cost a lot. Previously, you could buy I think 16 gigs for $400, $500, or even much cheaper, like $200 I think for 16 gigs. Now 16 gigs of DDR6 probably costs you $1,000. It's about the cost of a GPU. So you know, DDR6 sticks are absolutely dedicated. Wham! Exactly. The RAM costs are through the roof at the moment, and shit's absolutely batshit crazy. So these stocks could get a lot more wilder. These stocks meaning WDC, Western Digital, STX, Seagate Technologies, all of them are breaking out into all-time highs at the moment. So keep an eye out for all the whole basket. WDC also another one going into all-time high territories, or is at all-time high, sorry. Breaking out a couple days ago, and today was an explosive day 2 move. I'm pretty sure most of this day 2 move was because of SNDK today, but monster day 2 move nevertheless. Here's Seagate day 1 move over here, also once again because of SNDK. So if you think SNDK is going to keep going higher, then you can potentially look for some sort of a sympathy trade, an opportunity to look for a long on WDC or Seagate Technologies in the next few coming days. So keep an eye out for the whole basket overall. I don't know any other name in the sector besides those three. Obviously Micron is just, you know, in the AI sector, it's in the semiconductor sector, and it's a stock that's going through all-time highs right now, very similar to the memory names, so worth watching them. ON Semiconductor, another stock which is apparently getting bought out or has some sort of investor news of some sort, so not the same catalyst, but something to keep an eye on too. ON Semiconductor, I had a small little long on them today. So that is the quick little rundown of the memory space sector. Uh, I do think there's going to be a great short coming up very eventually. I won't say very soon, eventually, but we don't know when, right? These could keep going a lot more crazier, so be careful if you're looking for the short side. And if you're looking for the long side, just know that September of last year, just a few months ago, the stock was at $51, and if you are not already long on this name, you are buying the stock at 500% higher than what it was a few months ago, right? Is that something you want to be doing? So if you are looking to get long, be careful. Ask yourself, where is your stop? Where is the line in the sand that tells you are wrong if you are going long? Okay, so just figure that out if you are willing to trade something like this. I wonder if there is a leverage ETF for these names. There isn't yet, but there will be one soon. I don't doubt it. There will be one soon. So keep an eye out for when they come out. Western Digital doesn't have one either. I'm pretty sure they will get some leverage ETFs very, very, very soon. Prad, why not get general exposure to all of these by SOXL? You could, but it might not be the time to buy ETFs. You know, there's better opportunities out there on a day-to-day run, on a month-to-month run, than buying in ETF, because one might help out the ETF, but the other one might be really dragging it down. At the same time, it's the what's the weightages of the stocks in SOXL. SOXL might be it's 3 times bear or bull SMH or SOXX. So what is the overall weightage of stocks in SOXX? I think Nvidia is not even doing what MU is doing right now, right? So I personally don't like buying ETFs, but if you're a passive investor, if you're not a active trader and managing your account day to day, then ETFs are perfectly fine. They're a perfectly fine way to park your money in, because you don't have to look at it daily, right? Weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever your time schedule is. But if you are going on a day-to-day schedule, then parking your money in ETFs is just like the slowest thing, in my opinion, out there that you could use to grow your money. Because if you're figuring or using proper setups, I think like AV gave a person that I know 30% in 3 days. Like, is SOXL giving you 30% in 3 days, right? Some of the oil names, even though they got smoked back to the downside, had you timed the orders perfectly, like that gave you 10% in 2 days, right? If you apply proper setups, methodologies, as a day-to-day trader, swing trader, even you know, on every 2 days, 3 days kind of trades, then I'm just not sure that you know, you want to be parking your money in ETFs. I'm just not an ETF guy. But like I said earlier, there's a million ways to skin a cat, right? There's a million ways to skin a cat. I much rather put it in what's moving right now, and then when it stops moving, I take my money and I bail, right? I just walk away from it. It's just the easier way for me. But a million ways to skin a cat. Some people like to park their money in ETFs. It is what it is. Apple, I wanted to talk about the large cap sector, but more importantly, because the large cap sector is currently taking a little bit of a turn while the market is breaking all-time high. However, Amazon, look at Amazon today, monster move on Amazon, right? Pretty good move over there, breaking out above last week's ranges and blasting off. But we have seen Amazon find weakness in this area quite a bit previously, so I am still a little cautious, but watching nevertheless to see how Amazon reacts on this current pop. Tesla pushing lower today, sadly. Not sure what Microsoft did. I didn't look at Microsoft at all. It looks like a small pop on Microsoft. Where's Meta? Meta consolidating right at the 200-day moving average, I assume. Apple, we already looked at how that was breaking lower. What am I missing? Nvidia. So really, it's only Amazon out of the large cap that had a monster day today, and still S&P 500 managed to break out to all-time highs. So it's like, what in the S&P 500 was carrying the SPY today? Monster move on the S&P 5s today, huh? SGov is a Treasury ETF with the $15 billion market cap, 64.67 billion market cap. SGov Treasury ETF, ETC. Good comms. I'm not sure why you mentioned that. I still like soup, Campbell Soup, Chart Buddha. Is that Angry Buddha, but his alt account? Campbell Soup does not look too good. Had a little bit of a run up into the close today though. But doesn't look too good, man. Didn't the CEO say that he hates soup and it's for poor people? Oh, Campbell Soup. When's the last time I even had Campbell Soup? I can't even remember. Anyways, yeah, looks like Amazon's the only one right now heading to the north side. Potentially worth watching if the market has a red day tomorrow. How does Amazon react to it? We already see how the most of the large cap stocks are reacting to the market going up. So if the market pulls back tomorrow, potentially Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, all these stocks that were already going down might pull even more to the downside. So keep an eye out for that. Or they might just do the opposite again to the market like they did today. So it will be very hilarious to watch that again. But Amazon, my eyes will be on Amazon to see how the market Amazon reacts to the market tomorrow. Out of the large cap, that's the only name that's kind of really drawing my attention. A quick shout out to the drone sector over here, because like I said earlier, AV up 30% in 3 days. In the after hours, now trading at $320. This stock is absolutely blasting off. Sadly, volume is very light on this name, but drone stocks across the board, ACHR, JOBY, all of them are giving you potentially trades very soon, either a breakout or a failed breakout short opportunity for a day trade. So keeping an eye across the board for the sector, UMAC, and so on. Also keep an eye out for the quantum sector, UUUU, OKLO, SMR, NNE. All of these names moved recently. The next sector is robotics, RR, SERV, iRobot, which is now delisted, never mind. SYM, Symbiotic. Ooh, nice little move on Symbiotic over there after the offering and so on. Look at Symbiotic go, not bad, huh, chat? So keeping an eye on the robotics sector. Oil sector sold right back to the downside. CVX pushed right back down. Oxy pushed back down, I think, or Oxy didn't even move at all to begin with. But the XOM, so oil trade kind of got deleted over there. I didn't even trade the oil trade, but if you were involved in the long at the right time, well, hopefully you took profits. If you didn't, then this looks pretty ugly, so you want to be careful. And with our good friend Trump talking about using military again, using military to now take over Greenland or Iceland or whatever he wants to take over now. Now that he took over Venezuela, he could easily take over Greenland. And obviously defense and war names, LMT, RTX, Palantir, all of these defense technology stocks will be catching some traction. So you can see over here LMT going up a little bit for the last few days, pulling back a little bit today after having a pretty good run up. RTX trying to break the all-time highs around 191 area, and Palantir probably still on the downtrend. Oh, nice little pop on Palantir, but sucky still a little bit. Thanks for the oil update. Greenland is weak. Here comes the Americans talking about how they can take over any state they want. or country, state. Take any country they want. It's Darth. AI will let poor people eat soup. When you realize you're not the rebels, but the Empire. Chart Buddha. Okay, what's up, Chart Buddha? I think Darth Buddha, I remember you. Hopefully you had a great 2025 and about to enjoy a monstrous 2026, my friend. Good to see you. But that's basically the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see anything too hot. Basically watching the names that moved recently today, moved to yesterday. I think some names report earnings tomorrow. So let me quickly bring in this screen over here, show you guys the earnings calendar. Where is the earnings calendar? So some stocks report tomorrow, but none of them which I care for. Very low interest on all of these. Tomorrow after hours, though, there are some good names to keep an eye out. That will be Applied Blockchain and Constellation Brands. So make sure you tune in for those earnings reports. We'll go over those stocks, the earnings reports, and all things specific to them. But sadly, that's all she wrote for Wednesday after hours that at least I care about. There are some stocks on Thursday after hours, but again, that's where the watch list kind of dies down again for this week. But thankfully, next week we have banks up front and center. JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and all their big banks coming in for us to enjoy with. So earnings calendar right around the corner. Be ready, strap in your seatbelts. Quickly take a look at the economic calendar. This month is FOMC month, so be ready for that. I think that's closer to the end of the month. If I remember correctly, should be 28th of January. But don't quote me on that. We could do some quick little checks. Let's go check out when it is. It is the 28th of January, and they are currently expecting with the 81% probability that we are not going to get a rate cut at the start of the year. What a horrible way to start the year. Come on, Jerome Powell. Let's turn that around. Let's get a rate cut and get the ball rolling. Send this market through the roof. But I don't think we're going to get that. Anyways, pulling back into the econ calendar. Tomorrow does look a little busy. We have a bunch of 3-star and 2-star events starting at 8:15. Non-pharma employment change numbers. ISM non-manufacturing employment, that's at 10 o'clock. ISM. JOLTS number at 10 o'clock. Crude oil inventories at 10:30. And then FOMC Bowman at the market close at 4:10. So most of them are right at the 10 o'clock marker. And then you have the crude oil inventories for you CL traders, for you XOM and CVX traders. Crude oil inventory numbers coming out at 10:30, but most importantly will be the 10 o'clock numbers, which could sway the market one way or the other. So if you are trading, make sure you are staying alert at that time. You could get caught offside very quickly. But that's all she wrote. Quickly, let's go check out if there's any IPOs showing up for this month. No, nothing at the moment. There is one decent sized IPO, $243 million offer amount, $16 to $18, but it is a biotech company by the looks of it, or some health tech company, so probably not as high priority, but it looks like it could give us some opportunity, so we'll keep an eye out for that. But this year is supposed to be a pretty high frothy exciting year for IPOs. SpaceX, OpenAI, Databricks, Stripe, lots of companies are expected to IPO this year, so we're very excited for that one. Sadly, nothing for this week. Nice and calm week, and then we're gonna get ready for next week. All right, guys, see you tomorrow. Have a good day tomorrow on the market. Go make some money. Catch you guys next time. Peace.